We're live. Finally, we're live. People, deluded. I'm back again. I hope you're all well and safe. I hope you're all doing well and safe. I hope you're all well and safe. I hope you're doing well and safe, as I said 1,000 times. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on who you are, wherever you are in this world. I hope you're all doing well and safe on this Thursday. I hope you're all doing, you're moving towards your goals and whatever you're doing. I know some of you are working from home, some of you are at work. So whatever reality you're living, thank you very much for making time to accommodate me and my live streams within your videos. Please make sure we're hitting the like buttons early doors, people, and please check out the pinned message. As you know, it's Arsenal versus Crystal Palace today, and I'll be going live at 7:30 and doing a watch along in that regard. So if you want to join me for that and watch me react in live time and provide talking points in real time, then you know what that is. If you can't do that, then I'd appreciate if you open up another tab, hit the like button. Every like means it's more likely to be shown in someone's recommendations. Much recommended. So people business. So apologies for any technical difficulty. As in, recommended is a big part as to why I've grown to 30,000 and so please don't think it's underestimated or I'm overstating it. Your votes really, well, I say votes, they might as well be votes. They really make a difference. I can't find this comment, but Kyle's onto me. It said, late, it's not my fault, my guy. You just saw some circle business. Listen, I was prepared today. I did everything early and whatnot, and I was prepared, but I can never account for technology. And this is one reason I don't really like live streams, because if I'm just making a normal video, I can fix it up. If it's live, it's a problem. And you got the internet, you got the rest of it. We're gonna crack on in a bit, people. Sokratis has been offered to Liverpool, and that's truly banter in Arsenal fan fashion. Obviously, there's some other rumors and all sorts of talking points that we've got to get through, people. So it's a great day for DG content. It's a great hour or so that we're gonna be here for. Before I get into it, I'm a big fan of having manners. Manners are free, just like hitting the like button. What are you guys saying really quickly? It's frozen. It's saying Nuno. Yes, Nuno. I can never say his full name. I just call him Nuno. It's Nuno Espirito Santo. I always mess it up and butcher it, but there's him. What he said. In the meantime, Charles watched the video with Deluded. You spam up his really, and again having technical. Again, the messages aren't on the screen as quickly as I would like, people, but it is what it is. We keep moving, keep pressing. So yeah, man, I hope you're all well and safe. Big up yourself, Marshall. You're a United fan. You've got nothing to do with Arsenal, but I appreciate your support that you give me. And like he says, smash up the like button. It is free, people. So yeah, morning, everyone. I hope you're all well and safe. I hope you're all doing well and safe. I hope you're good. Like I said, I'm seeing a lot of praise from you guys. I'm seeing you choosing N'Golo Kante. I'm hearing mad lag. I'm hearing good pronunciation of stuff. Again, it's lagging. I don't know why it's lagging, people. I really don't know why. I really don't know what's going on. Let me go downstairs and see what I'm going for my internet really quickly. 1 second, people. Very bad lag. I apologize for it. Again, I can't do nothing about this, people. 1 second. Oh man. Anyways, people, I apologize. I don't know what going on. I've went downstairs. I've looked at it. All the dots are still on the on the router. Sorry. So I apologize if it's still lagging and your viewing experience is ruined and things like that. I don't try and do this thing on purpose. StreamYard is cop blocking the guy, and again, it's making me just want to lock this all off right now because it's looking like a failure, really and truly. But we have to try and move, man. It fixes up as he leaves. You get it, people. Again, are we good? Are we well? Are we safe? All right, cool. We're good now. I was scared, man. I was scared. You're right, Kyle, man. I might have to get a technical guy. We might need someone that can pattern this stuff. I just like to talk about content. Maybe God heard my praise, my prayers, and and things like that. I don't ask for much. I don't trouble people in this life. All I ask for is that my thing starts working. Like Cam has said, you scared the router as it's good again. You know, let's not diss my router because my router might play with my emotions, and I hope it patterns up and things like that. Tom always said, you're all good, bro. You're well worth being patient for. I appreciate you guys, man. You lot give me confidence. When I think it's all over, it's all over. And to be fair to you, that will be the most dominant display Willian has ever had, you know, in relation to anything. So let me not waste any more time. Let me get into what you lot are here for. Let me start sharing up the screen. Like I said, apologies for any technical difficulties we have encountered prior to this, but sharing screen business time. Let me zoom in. What's that noise? Apologies, people. It's an aeroplane, but it sounds madder when you've got your headphones in. So it sounds like literally an aeroplane is coming and smashing into my head right now. And you lot can't see, but behind is my green screen. Behind my green screen is actually the window. Pardon me. That's why you hear me bug out sometimes. I'm like, what's that sort of thing? Because my back is turned. I'm from a place where you don't turn your back to nobody. You know, big up you lot, so big up you lot. And Claudius has said, big up all the YouTube members. You're important. People wait for you. You know, I don't think I'm important. I'm just a man with an opinion, but I respect the praise you guys give me. And once again, sorry for that. Man, I'm saying get Elon Musk on the phone. If I can get him on the phone, you think I'm asking him about my YouTube channel? I'm like, bro, bust me some stocks. Let me hold $1 or something. But it is what it is, man. Let's move. You know, moving forward, Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that Klopp has been offered the chance to sign Arsenal defender. Now, Sokratis, Arteta himself has said Sokratis is moving. You know, he's not been registered. We know we want to move him off the wage bill. We know Liverpool, I'm sure there's many areas Klopp wants to improve to better his team and keep, you know, winning Champions Leagues and Premier Leagues. But right now, they are very stretched at centre half. You know, if they had to bring in one position, I'm sure most Liverpool fans, not that I can speak for them, they would like to see a competent centre half brought in. So, which, you know, I don't think that is Sokratis. I can see Arsenal being cheeky and saying, here's a centre half for you that Klopp knows about from his time at Dortmund. But I don't think it will work out. Again, yeah, you could say you could bring him in on a short-term deal at 32 years of age, but Sokratis, and you could say it's experience, but Sokratis isn't someone that's going to help them move forward. He's worked with him before, so again, nobody knows him more than Klopp. It's not going to help. It's not going to help Liverpool. And this is firmly BS. And again, it hasn't got anywhere beyond Arsenal trying to get rid of a player and being cheeky, almost as cheeky as offering a 40 million and a pound, people. And again, even if they wanted Sokratis, even if Klopp said, you know what, I've worked with him before, I could use him. His fitness isn't there. Yeah, he's been playing 23s, but you know, football is football, and he's been playing occasional 23s, but he can't be in the best condition. So how is he going to help them immediately? It don't make no sense. It doesn't go beyond this, and that's what it is in relation to Sokratis. And big up yourself, Marshall. I'm sure someone's got a similar username than you. I apologize for saying you support United, definitely because you're a Liverpool fan. Keen to see which one of you win on Sunday, but you said, yo, DG, I'm a Liverpool fan. We don't want that deadwood Sokratis. I can't blame you. You know, if you're gonna bring in Sokratis, which isn't gonna happen, you might as well give a 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 18-year-old centre half within their 23s or 18 some minutes, because Sokratis doesn't scream longevity. Again, he's not the best of ball playing centre halves. I don't think he's a terrible footballer, but he isn't someone anyone in the top 6 should be looking at, people. So with that being said, that is the end of Sokratis' to talk about Sokratis. We'll get on to Thomas Partey in a bit, but staying up task with centre halves. You know, if Sokratis does leave to go with Saliba leaving temporarily, that means we're left at centre half with we're left with Rob Holding, we're left with Callum Chambers on paper, Pablo Mari on paper, David Luiz and Gabriel. So wait, so let me say that again. What? Mustafi, wait, David Luiz, Mari, Gabriel, Callum Chambers, Rob Holding. And then again, I think I had to start again because I didn't know if I included Mustafi, but Mustafi would make it 6 centre halves. But Arteta's hinted that he wants him to stay until the summer. Obviously, if we get 2 injuries or something happens, we're a bit pressed for options. And I understand that at this moment in time, you know, we're not good. We got zanged. We lost 30-40 million. You know, it is what it is. He hasn't repaid it. Personally, I would like to sell Mustafi like anybody if there is a chance, even if Balogun doesn't want to stay. You know, if players don't want to be here or they're linked with moves or they're out of contract, I'd rather get some money than nothing. So I think Mustafi should still be allowed to go. And for me, again, I'm not going to question mark Mustafi's professionalism because I think he is professional. But people playing devil's advocate might have a problem of saying, again, we know why Saliba's gone out on loan, but why is Saliba not being given minutes ahead of Mustafi? Why is Mustafi being given the captaincy and all of these sort of things? Why can't we move him on and take a proactive approach? You know, if you could get a 5 million for him, you know, Arsenal, we have to watch every pennies. What could that 5 million do for us? And again, he's free to agree moves elsewhere and now, anyways, in the summer. But Arteta's hinted that he could stay until the summer. You know, it's gone on to say, and again, let me zoom in a bit because I'm conscious that I don't know if you lot can see it properly. But Mikel Arteta has hinted Sokratis could stay at Arsenal until the summer. The German is into the final 6 months of his contract at the Emirates Stadium, and he will not be signing a new deal. Now, there was rumours he was offered one, and there was also rumours he's rejected one. Not quite sure which one is more crazier in that regards. People, big up yourself, AM, big up yourself, AM. You know, you're always in the building. I really respect you. And I know you're probably working from home now. You know, Mustafi definitely needs a change of scenery. He needs to just go somewhere he can play football, really, because, again, if the manager believes in you, and we've got to remember when Chambers got injured and stuff, Mustafi had a little bit of a looking in the team and a strong sort of end to the season. And he was unfortunate to get injured and play no part in the FA Cup final like Martinelli. But we all know Mustafi is one of those players that is hot and cold, you know. He hasn't been a complete fire hazard at Arsenal. You know, it's sad if you type in his name, you've seen him being torn a new one consistently. You know, he has struggled, but he has gone through moments where he's actually played quite well. He just hasn't hit the targets. Reality is at 26, 27, Mustafi should be the centre half. We're saying, nah, Marie has to play with him. Gabriel has to play with him. David Luiz or Holding. He's not that. You know, he should be the leader. World Cup winner, been here for a long period of time, significantly more experienced than Gabriel and Rob Holding, for example, been here longer than Marie. Only David Luiz should be able to chat to him. Mustafi is one of these players at Arsenal that are hot and cold and they go through form. And this isn't me praising or critiquing. You know, El Nene's gone through form this season, talk of new deals and whatnot. Sokratis has even had good moments at Arsenal. Mustafi, the man in question, you know. Look, Lacazette right now, obviously I rate Lacazette, but, you know, consistently over a 38-game period, these guys go through periods where they look better than the others. There's only some man in this team that are consistently good. David Luiz as well, hot and cold. And Mustafi is fairly one of those. Mustafi is a World Cup winner, my guy. Mustafi is a World Cup winner. Not too sure where you've been or if you might be speaking about someone else, but Mustafi is a World Cup winner. Accidental, because, you know, if Royce never got injured, this and that, he wouldn't be there. But maybe if I was taller or faster, I'd be playing for Arsenal. So ifs and buts are not facts. Shout out to Mustafi. Now, for me, again, I can't question his professionalism if he has been linked with moves away, if he has rejected a new deal and Arteta's still seen fit to make him the captain and all of these sort of things. I don't know if that's sensible or not, but it is what it is, people, and he wants him to stay, really. Arteta apparently, you know, and to what it's worth, Sokratis, you know, Genoa have apparently signed a centre-half, so they're probably not onto him. Apparently, Real Betis need to move players on. He's been linked with teams in his homeland in Greece. He's been linked with teams in Turkey like Fenerbahce with Ozil. He's been linked with a bag of teams, but until a move is finalized, it's all speculation, people. He is, you know, like Mustafi, like Sokratis, for those who I can't imagine you don't know, contracts are running down, trying to scroll down to Arteta's things, you know, and Mustafi clearly is someone he thinks, you know what, I got 5 centre halves. If Holding gets injured and Marie, who's had a couple of knocks, gets an injury, you know, we're down to our bare bones. Suddenly, we might have 5, 6 centre halves on the books. Suddenly, it's down to 4 or 3. Do you get it? So he might say, do you know what? You can stay as cover. At our push, you might be able to do a thing at right back. If I ever decide to revert back to 3 at the back, then there's an option. So who knows in that regards? But either way, apologies. Let me see this. Tariq said Mustafi is not as bad as we think. He will play good and then make that mistake. That's the problem. No, I don't think Mustafi's good enough. He doesn't have the concentration. I do agree he's not a walking fire hazard. Like he's, you know, man make out he's poor at every stage, but he lets you down. You know, he lets you down. He done it at United a couple of years ago. He's done it against Chelsea several times. There's, you know, and he's very much a confidence man like everyone. Mustafi, you know what it is. You know, we need you to be on point in those moments. It's not good me talking about you're not as bad as I think, but in those moments we don't need you. At that task now. Mustafi sadly has been a failure at Arsenal. You know, there was a time we used to keep clean sheets against clean sheets with Mustafi. There was a time I'm sure we was actually undefeated whenever Mustafi played. You know, he goes through good and bad moments. They don't think he's a walking fire hazard. I don't think he's as bad as people make out or want to make out, but he is poor, very rash, poor marking, inability to concentrate for large periods. In an ideal world, with all due respect to the Mustafis, to the David Luizes and Sokratis, they've all had good moments. They're not all bad centre halves, but they're not levels. And with exception to Mustafi, because let's be fair, we thought, I'd say, Mustafi's ratings has only gone down for me since he signed for this club, because again, he left Everton, he went to Sampdoria, I believe, really made a name for himself, and then went Valencia, where people were really aware of him. And then, we thought he's got that centre half that's the eventual leader to take over from Koscielny, someone that can play with him. And he's shown he's not levels. He's had moments, but he's just not levels. And I would like to see him sold in January, because we need to get some sort of cash. But I understand if they're just going to let him wait out the season. It does scream a bit too comfortable, but we'll have to see. Arteta himself has said his future right now is here. I am trying to help. We have Papa that is probably going to leave the club in this window. So that, what has that told you? Like with Ozil, even though he's not of relevance to this, Sokratis is free to leave. It's been made abundantly clear, and we expect him to keep it moving. He's went on to say William, obviously Saliba has already gone on loan, so we don't have that many centre backs right now. Gabriel has been out for a period. David Luiz has been injured, so the situation is completely different to before. And again, Gabriel was a permanent fixture in our team and should still firmly be that. But again, through COVID measures and obviously suspensions and things, he's been missing out. David Luiz has had knocks. Holding, while being at Arsenal, has had some knocks. So maybe, there's that in that regard. So I can understand why they why they would like to do that sort of thing. So it makes sense. You lot are very harsh in relation to Mustafi, but everyone's allowed an opinion, and I'm not going to disagree. Mustafi came back from a really difficult period when he got injured at the end of last season. Up to that period, I think he was doing really well. I think his performances were increasing and getting better and better, and that's what I'll give him. For me, again, I think Mustafi, again, he needed confidence, and I don't think Mustafi's levels. You lot don't think he's levels, but Arteta did. And for me, regardless of if I rate someone or not, the only opinion that matters is the manager. And for a period, he showed you a good amount of form. I don't know if that was because of Arteta, because a new manager came in and there was an uptake in performance, which you can say over several players. But again, these sort of men will always let you down. With all due respect, certain players, they will always get into this situation. Like, I don't think Mustafi's a bad person. I actually like him, but he's just not levels for this club and what we're trying to do. It's like David Luiz, he's doing his thing right now, but there's going to be periods where we're looking at him a bit side eyes. Kolasinac was hot and cold. Williams probably the only player that's never been hot. I've just seen you being cold at this team, but players I would describe as hot and cold within this team, and obviously some I like more than others and things like that. But I'd say Lacazette, he goes through good and bad periods. I would say Mustafi, I would say David Luiz, I would say El Nene, I would say Ceballos, I would say Hector Bellerin. I would even throw in Pepe into that. Players that go through dodgy moments and then good moments and things like that. And for me, I would have liked to have seen, in an ideal world, obviously Mustafi's injury made it hard for us to move him on in the summer. In an ideal world, he would have got that revitalization from Arteta, and then someone might have said, do you know what? Let's take a chance on Mustafi. He's got a year left. We can get him some things. And for me, I need my defenders to be reliable. There's no point me talking about how, you've had good and bad periods. If when I need you, you're not at it, people. And I think sometimes he's overexposed. Sometimes he moves like a headless chicken. Sometimes Mustafi's overconfidence can be a killer. Sometimes his nervousness can spread to other people. And it's like my guy Bia said here, fundamentally in relation to Mustafi, he makes too many mistakes that cost games. He's too unreliable. Everyone makes mistakes. Gabriel's made a mistake and he'll make more. He got sent off against Villa. I could be wrong. Was he not? 2 silly bookings. But again, and that's cost you points. Even the best defenders in the world have a bad game. But it's like when I'm talking about you've had a bad game in January, in February, in March, in April, and you add up all of these points that you've cost us, and you've got a bunch of other players that do the same, we're in problems, people. And like he said, fair play, he came back from a good period. And he said when he came back, it was a moment when we had 7 or 8 centre halves. So he had to get his performance levels up. I think physically, he still needed some time. Then he started to play some games in Europe, and I think he did well in as well. So it is what it is. And he said, now it's about when you make the next step to be a starter. And the reality is we have to change for different reasons, use different personnel. He's been very close in a few games, but now we found as well a partnership that's given us clean sheets. And sometimes when you do that, it's difficult to change, but he's still in contention. So for me personally, that kind of, I'm not sure where I look at with David Luiz then, because you're telling we know Mustafi, because we know he needs to move on, but then you're kind of giving him sort of encouragement. And I don't mind that. If he's going to stay at the club, you have to not obviously, we know in the ideal world, we're seeing a bunch of combinations before Mustafi, but you never want someone to feel down. You want someone to keep their spirits up. You want someone to be prepared as much as they can be if and when the time comes for them to be thrown in. And I think I think he likes Mustafi because, like he said, he's been very close in a few games. So maybe pride. And to be fair, the way we was playing before that, before these last 3-4 games, everyone's place could have been up for grabs. So I get it. But at the same time, this tells me that he's been close to contention. Before we've seen, Holding and Marie and all these guys play well, he's been in contention. So there is a small glimmer of hope there. But like Arteta says, what we're doing right now, we're getting clean sheets. So we can't, you don't really want to change things, but he's still in contention. It's up to Mustafi. We heard a lot of rumors in relation to wanting to play, wanting to leave, and all of these sort of things. So it's down to him. Has he been given an offer in January that's up to his taste buds, or does he want to wait it out in the summer and see potentially if obviously we'll still be feeling the effects of COVID, but hopefully we get over COVID and the financial issues that teams have faced because of that, and then there might be more offers for him. There might be more attractive propositions. There might be a better signing on fee. We'll have to see. But for me, I don't think he's someone you can rely on, especially if everyone makes mistakes, but I just feel certain players are repeat offenders in this team, and we've been down this road. Again, with all due respect to Mustafi, we've been down this road with several players, and you'll always get what you pay for. Certain man will always let you down. I'm not trying to be harsh. It's just what I've seen as an Arsenal fan. It's a bit sad, but he will eventually let you down. And Xhaka's the same. Xhaka came on and changed the game against Newcastle. I don't think Xhaka is a bad player, but when the time is, when it's time to stand up to be counted, these players will do what they normally do. We can't. Insanity is doing the same things over and over again. And I'm not calling for people to change things. Obviously, players that are hot and cold. Jason is saying, damn, DG, that's a long hot and cold list. It is, fam, because there's bare hot and cold, man. Prior to this season, if you ask me people that I would say over 38 game, obviously considering human error, a man just might have bad games because they're human and it happens. There's only a few amount of players that I know, whatever the weather, whatever the game, you're going to show me a base level of performance. I would have said Aubameyang. Obviously, I'll still keep him in there. But again, he's not scoring the goals, so he can't really be in there. But historically, Aubameyang, Kieran Tierney, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli when fit. Again, the two additions of Gabriel and Partey, these are the players. There's only, Leno makes mistakes as well, to be fair with you. And if the team was all patterned up in the right way, as much as I like Leno, I'd be looking at a keeper. Hopefully we're looking at a backup one. But I'd throw Leno into that. Leno does make some mistakes, but more often than not, he plays quite well. And I think Leno is, he plays consistent enough. So these are the only sort of players at a push that I think, over a 38 game Premier League season and etc. I can really rely on you without obviously considering that you're human and things, and that's not good. That's about 7-8 names. It is 11 players that start. It's a 25-man squad minimum. So until we get more man that are like this and are not the hot and cold, we're gonna be in this situation, man. Like AM has said, pick up all the members, show me some love and hit up the like button. It doesn't cost a thing. As T has just said, 47 people watching haven't liked the stream. Get to it, people. Stop being lazy freeloaders. What kind of thing is that, man? Come on, people. You lot are doing me dirty, man. 96 likes. What's all that about, man? We ain't even touched 100 yet. It is what it is, man. We move. There's no reason. Hate is a strong word. But yeah, man. I just don't like what you're doing at Arsenal, man. He's got a shout at the Emirates era. Definitely. YouTube's Thomas Partey. I respect you, man. Saka is consistently piping hot, never cold. Again, you get it. He's had a couple of poor games of recent, but even not of recent this season, but even his poor games are better than other man, and that tells you everything, really and truly. Like I said, there's only a couple of men I can rely on. We're at that point, Jay. Big up yourself. I see you saying it's snowing in Leeds. I don't even want to get into Mustafi's individual mistakes and all of these sort of things, but it wasn't just him. I think Bellerin as well in the build up to that goal against Leicester at home. If we're referring to the same thing, But it's at that point, my guy, you know, you just got to type in Mustafi and mistake on YouTube, and you'll find it. You'll find a whole heap of things. I don't mind him getting torn a new one by someone like Eden Hazard, because it's them things there happen, in it. Like, you're gonna get torn up against a good team, but too often than not, it was some average things happening. Sandro has said, how are you feeling about today? Listen, let's speak about that in the afternoon, because right now I'm trying to speak about Mustafi, Sokratis, Emre's message to Nicolas Pepe and things. How am I feeling? Indifferent. On one hand, my guy, I wouldn't say I'm confident, but I have confidence in my team a bit, because obviously 3 wins in the Premier League, 4 wins in all competitions. There's a bit of feel good. The young G's are leading by example. People are standing up to be counted. Hopefully it doesn't go into complacency. Now, why I'm a bit nervous is because it's Crystal Palace. We ain't bucked them in 4 games. You know, Zaha, as an Arsenal fan, didn't get the move because of this man in question, Nicolas Pepe. He's always got the bit between his teeth against us. So it's going to be a big game. So I'm confident if the Arsenal that has been turning up turns up. Like I said, I want us to behave that like we haven't actually done anything. I want us to behave like this winning run hasn't happened. I don't want any complacency. I want 100% hunger. You know, Spurs dropped points yesterday, and to be fair, they dropped points yesterday. Pochettino's been in the PSG job for a couple of hours, and he's won a league. He's won a trophy. I had to do it, Spurs. It was too good not to. But yeah, so it's, you know, we can close the gap on a couple of people with 2 wins in recent games. You know, I want to win now, and I want to chuck it to Newcastle, but it's going to be a different. We've got a different. Man, and I want us to treat every game like a cup final. Personally, don't know why that took so long, but I just want to see the league table, the top half of it better yet. So what, Spurs are on 30 points after their draw yesterday. We're on 23. Again, you get 9 points, you're on 29, you're getting closer and closer. Again, you know, we're not gonna be anywhere to scream and shout about, but it's just about putting a run of games together. And like Mikel Arteta said, you know, if you want top 4 or to return to the top 6 and all of these sort of things, you've got to show it now. You've got to show it, because if I'm honest, you know, I think fans have been a bit too excited off the back of winning 3 games. And I think the club has been, you know, when I think we've got to keep balance. Fantastic result against Chelsea, equally fantastic against Brighton and West Bromwich Albion. But if I'm real with you, the Chelsea, it's not that I only give us praise for the Chelsea result. It's not that I only give us praise for the Chelsea result, because I can't just do that. A win is a win, and definitely winning back-to-back away from home is a good thing. But if we're real and we stop getting excited and getting gassed off 3 wins just because Arsenal have been terrible, and we look at it, Chelsea, fantastic. West Brom, you should be beating them. Brighton, how their form is, you should be beating them. Now, they're 2 teams I'll describe as bogey teams when we play them, but they're 2 games you should be winning. You know, without emotion and without considering Arsenal, any team that wants top 4 or wants to put a run of form together, they're the games you have to win. Tell me I'm lying, people. So, again, we need to keep balance. And I just think in football, there's no real balance, man. You know, man are saying Eze versus Bellerin is scary. You know, bro, Zaha, Eze, even Benteke is nothing to write home about, but every time we play them, he seems to be involved in certain people. Again, Bellerin, you've been in good form, whether people like it or not. Bellerin, someone I would describe as hot and cold people, but he's been good, you know, and you're going to be at it, because what I want to see, and I give you credit for Chelsea, because they've obviously got Pulisic and them things there, but when we bucked Wolves, when we bucked Leicester, you might even, I could be wrong on Leicester, but when we played Wolves and Villa in particular, you know, Pedro Neto and Grealish smashed you up, and it just feels like with Bellerin, anytime there's a 1v1 demon or someone that's good technically or someone that can drift inside and go down the wing, he kind of struggles. Like I said, he's patterned it up in the last 3 games. I want to see that again. You know, I want to see that again. And if you're playing against Eze or Zaha or whoever, I want to see a good performance, because you're playing against one of the biggest sort of marked men, or one of the, you know, more so, I'm not focusing more so on Zaha, but you're playing against someone who the Premier League know about. The Premier League know that he's a 1v1 demon. So, and not even just Bellerin, Tierney's got to stand up to be counted. Everyone has to. We've all got to win our 1v1 battles. We've all got to defend very well in the air. You know, we've all got to be careful of the counter attack. What I want to see is my wingers helping out the fullbacks, because as poor as I think Bellerin is generally defensively, I look at this man actually in the picture against Leeds. You know, he was not helping Bellerin. Now, Bellerin was getting savaged himself, but it is what it is. Big up yourself for the super chat. Do you think Saka has regressed this season? Nope, not at all. Not at all personally. Big up yourself. Is the Sokratis news real? Well, beyond Arsenal trying to be cheeky and offer him, I think that's where it is, where it stops and ends. You know, Liverpool would be stupid to buy them, to buy Sokratis, and Liverpool are not stupid. They'll obviously be looking at that and thinking he's not going to help us. Big up yourself, Aaron, as well. I appreciate you locked in from Dubai. I wish I was there at this moment in time, and you're breaking my heart saying sunny, man. You know, it's I can't even show you lot, but it's raining over here in North London. Really and truly. Hopefully it's raining goals in a couple of hours to come. Shout out yourself, Jamal, as well. Shout out DG, man. You're consistent. Bless you, bro. I appreciate you guys, you know, because without you lot, there'd be no point actually being here, really and truly. Like Lewis said, hit the like button. Realist has said, what do you think of Martinelli, my guy? What is there to think of Martinelli versus he's a good player? I don't want to put too much, what's the word? Not emphasis. What's the word I'm looking for? Too much. Should have listened in English. What's the word? Expectation. I don't want to put too much expectation on him, but for me, I see a bit of Louis. Obviously, he's Martinelli. He's himself. He's Gabriel Martinelli. But I see a bit of Luis Suarez and Alexis Sanchez. You know, I see a bit of that false. I see a bit of Alexis on the left wing at Arsenal with him. I see potential to be that Alexis Sanchez false nine. I think he don't really play like Suarez, but he's got an element of Suarez about him. I don't know where I'm getting it from, but he's got a bit, for me, Martinelli's got a bit of Suarez about him. And, you know, I'd love him to, obviously, if he'll do quite well if he even has a fraction of the success that both of those players had in the world game and things, and becoming the players they had. But I think, you know, what is there to say about Martinelli? He's a great player. I think he's destined for Barcelona and Real Madrid. So let's enjoy that man while we have him, man. Roy, last question before I get into this. You said, big up DG. Who are your ideal midfielders, I assume you meant, versus Palace? Good content as always. Difficult one, because, you know, all I really know is if Partey is fit, obviously he missed out the FA Cup game. I would like to see Partey play. I'd like to see Partey play. Other than that, I don't know, man. You know, I think Xhaka, I like the way Xhaka came off the bench again. I'm never confident in Xhaka 100%, but I think he's been in good form. I think he came off the bench and played well in his last game. I haven't really been impressed in the last few games under El Nene or with El Nene. Ceballos did well against West Bromwich Albion. I wouldn't mind. It'd be a toss-up between Xhaka and Ceballos to partner Thomas Partey. So I would say Smith Rowe would play in the 10. Smith Rowe would play in the 10 for me. Obviously, Partey would be playing in a pivot. And I'd probably go with Xhaka. But between Xhaka, El Nene, Ceballos, I'm not really convinced in all of them consistently. They all go through hot and cold moments. You know, I can pick two of the three, and Smith Rowe in the 10 position, and again, Partey in the box to box. But it's a toss-up. I might say Xhaka now, and an hour from now, I might say I'm feeling El Nene or something like that. So it is what it is. But in relation to this, Emre's been doing a lot of chatting in relation to Arsenal. And obviously, Pepe and Zaha, there's a lot of similarities. They're both wingers. They're both linked with Arsenal. They're both Ivorian, you know, and, you know, people will look at it with foresight and said we should have got Zaha. What if Zaha came here and wasn't the bee's knees? You know, it is what it is. I've spoken about Pepe at length and my things as to why it's not happening for him here. I'm sure you have as well. So let's just stick to what's actually here. Emre is confident that winger Nicolas Pepe is going to make progress at the Emirates Stadium despite his failure so far to live up to his 72 million price tag, people. Scrolling down, trying to find specifically what has been said. As you lot know, he got 5 goals in 21 appearances last year. Well, this season, sorry, apologies. Last year, he got 1842. Trying to find exactly what Uno Emre said, and I think we have it here, people. He said, I was thinking at this time that the adaptation of Zaha was probably easier and faster than Pepe, but Pepe is a very good player, and I think he's going to progress. So again, not to go over the same things, but it's firmly what we knew. If Crystal Palace were more open to thingy structure, allowing us to structure Zaha's payments like a selling club in Leo were prepared to do, then I think it's Zaha. I think Pepe was the backup option. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, you know, has to wonder what could have been, because you could have went with Zaha. He could play through the middle, behind the striker, on the left. Again, he's from London. He's an Arsenal fan. He's got the bit between his teeth. You know, that's the one thing I think separates them. I was cool with either one, and I still am. I wanted Zaha. I wanted Pepe. I'm not going to lie to you, people. But I think the one thing I rate about Zaha, Pepe had that attitude. I think he'd be doing a bit better. I think Pepe's shown a bit of an attitude, but he does seem to be resigned to things when it happens. It's like Zaha's got that healthy chip on his shoulder, that icy free rude boy chip on his shoulder. He's not here to take stuff, and I love it from Zaha personally. But some people would have said maybe we should have just stayed clear of all of them, really and truly. But he said the adaptation was probably going to be easier and faster than Pepe's, and considering we kind of need instant impacts to get back into the top four, I get that. And he said he thinks he's going to progress. He said he's now almost 2 years in London and he's going to progress because he's a very good player. So let's hear, we need to see it, man. We need to see it. I always give players 6 months to a year, and then beyond that, I need to see it. And of course, I could sit here and say Pepe ain't really had chances. He ain't had this, he ain't had that. I think if he carries on how he played against Newcastle, I think then the penny might drop. But still, at the same time, it is what it is in that regards. I don't think he's a bad player, but it is what it is. He still had a hand in 26 goals in 63 appearances for this club. Obviously, I'm adding up his goals and assists, making it sound a bit more wavier. Zaha came down to money, man. It came down to money, in my opinion. To be fair, if you can pattern Ozil and all the stuff that goes with Ozil, you can go with that. And I don't, Zaha has personality, but at the end of the day, I don't think Zaha is an idiot. He knows I'm the manager of things. From what we see, it never crosses over off the field or in training. You don't hear these things about Zaha. You just see it on the field. So it is what it is in that regards. I appreciate you, MJ. But like he said, everyone hit the like button. There's 300 odd of you in here and there's only 143 likes. Come on, people, man. You lot are doing me dirty. Come on. Can we get that to at least 200? Please check out the pinned message as well, because obviously it's Arsenal versus Crystal Palace, which means it's a live stream business, people. Dane Thomas has said, DG, you must bring out the tactics board again and show us how you would like Arsenal to play. I always appreciate your tactical analysis. I appreciate you for watching that, my guy. I did bring it out for the last one. I'll bring it out after the Crystal Palace one when we're reviewing the game from a tactical point of view. But I think I've already done that, really and truly. But I appreciate that, man. I always feel there's no point making that sort of thing. But it's nice to know a couple people out here be happy with that. Sian has said, have you watched the Bellerin documentary? No, but I hear Kieran Tierney, Rob Holding have played some good parts in it. And I heard it's an interesting one, people. So we'll have to see, man. There's a new David Ornstein announcement. What can someone roll up what's exactly what David Ornstein has said, and we'll speak about that in a second, people. But moving away from that, so we've spoken about Pepe, we've spoken about Sokratis, we've spoken about Zaha and all of these sort of things. What one is this? Again, Arsenal held talks with George Mendes over Nuno Espirito Santo replacing Mikel Arteta, people. Now, again, I think there's no smoke without fire. I think if you copy and paste Nuno's name into Google, you hear that Mendes is allegedly trying to place him at another Premier League team. Now, that is that because, Nuno feels he wants to try something else? Does he feel the end of the project's happened? Is that a way of putting pressure on Wolves and their board? Is it just nonsense? Who knows? But again, this was probably more relevant a few weeks ago, again, because we did hear this, especially with Arsenal looking shaky. But apparently super agent George Mendes reportedly held talks with Arsenal about his client Nuno Espirito Santo replacing Mikel Arteta, despite the Wolves boss only signing a new contract a few months earlier, which means we probably have to pay a healthy, very healthy compensation package. But apparently, Arsenal are report, and for what is in relation to Bissouma, apparently he's allowed to go for 25 million this window, the latest report seen. But moving and keeping up with Nuno, it said Arsenal reportedly held talks with Wolves boss Nuno Espirito Santo over replacing Mikel Arteta before the club's recent upturn in form. It has been claimed. As you know, Arteta had been left fighting for his job heading into Christmas as Arsenal lost 6 of their 8 games. And obviously a week is a long time in football. Just over a month ago is a long time in football because it was all doom and gloom. And this is why I say we need to keep balance, with what we're doing and things like that. For me, I still think there should be pressure on everyone connected with the club. I still think we need to demand, even more so with the uptake in form, even more so we need to demand that this club make something happen in this window. And if it doesn't happen, we need to ask serious questions, because I'm sure not too many of you are confident if we don't at least get a midfielder in. It's crazy, people. We'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. in that regards. We'll get onto this David Ornstein stuff in a second, people. But let me just finish this. Yeah, like you can see, apparently he held talks, but again, I'm sure Arsenal held indirect talks with everybody, and especially with what Nuno is doing at Wolves and what he's done, it could have been decent. For me, I think Nuno would have struggled at Arsenal, not because of him. I just think any manager that takes this job struggles, because look at Wolves, you know. Wolves, clearly the owners and whatnot, they're buying into what Nuno's doing, and you know they're in bed with Wolves, are in bed with George Mendes as an agent, people. But it works because they're willing to pay for the top clients. You know, I don't think I do think you should be able to utilize agents and have relationships. I don't think they should get their feet under the table at a club. But again, it wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing if you're getting top targets. It's not necessarily a bad thing. But it's like with us and Kaya Jarupkin now, we can't get his top targets. That's why we're holding a Willian and we're getting a David Luiz and things like that. Like, I don't know his top clients, but I'm pretty sure there's some bad boy players on him. I wouldn't mind if it meant we could get Pedro Neto, Semedo, João Moutinho at a time, Ruben Neves, 3 players that instantly impact our team. I wouldn't mind it. It's when we're going with nonsense, you can only buy the CEX 99p PlayStation games. You can't get the new FIFA and things like that because you ain't got the bands. It comes down to money. So again, apparently it's gone on to say, forget that newspaper. I'm not going to read them, but he works as an advisor for Wolves, which is potentially a conflict of interest. You're working on behalf of a club and your client, but apparently he's actively searching for a new club, Nuno, and he's keen to remain in England. So maybe he wants to test himself at another club. Personally, I think he's got a good thing going for him at Wolves. Long gone are the days of Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson. But when I look at you, Brendan Rodgers, to a degree, Jurgen Klopp, even Chris Wilder right now, because he should be sacked at Sheffield United. They're the only ones off the top of my head I can see as being there. Maybe even Arteta to a degree, but that scream long term. And you're a manager, obviously, but you're closer to an old school manager, in my opinion, than these new head coach sort of things we're hearing. And you might be a bit more disposable at other clubs. Like, I'm sure Nuno's name, if I type it in, it's probably going to get thrown into the Chelsea one. Personally, and I don't know this to be true. Again, I'm not in. I stick to football. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know anything like that. But you said now that Wolves are low on funds, he's looking to send his clients elsewhere. Again, if they're low on funds, that makes sense. Perfect sense, really and truly. I think that's dream chasing. We're not going to get Depay, and we're not going to get I'd rather Alaba, but we're not going to get that, really and truly. I appreciate you, my guy. Big up all the Amsterdam Gooners out there. Really appreciate you guys, man. Really appreciate you, Daniel. Good video, DG. Smash the like button, as Niall said. Someone said DG preaching, but I can't even find it, man. AJ has also said, yes, appreciate your tactical analysis. Very much love the content. I appreciate this, my guy. I appreciate all you guys. Big up live from Planet X as well. Randy, in relation to Balogun, I've spoken about that in my last live stream last night. So please go and check the first 10 minutes of that one. I don't really want to get over that. But, big up Smack My Billy Calf. What are you lot are creative with your names. And also big up Bulldog as well, because he's spoken about this. Now, I can go on to the Athletic. I actually can go on to the Athletic and read stuff, people, for you guys. But let me just see. Let me just type in this and see what comes up first and foremost, man. Let's see what I've gone for this thing. I don't care about a man's LinkedIn. Let me actually, 1 second, people, because this is some breaking news business. I actually want to be able to find this for you guys. Is there an actual Athletic article? Because I've got the app on my phone. I'll read it out to you guys really and quickly. And it's here, people. Again, haven't got enough time to review, to obviously pull it up. But like Bulldog has said, he said it there, but let me read it out for you guys, people, really and truly, really quickly. I'll let you lot just stare at this screen. Apparently, Premier League Director of Football Richard Garlick to join Arsenal. Director of Football Richard Garlick will leave the Premier League to become Arsenal's new Director of Football Operations, David Ornstein can reveal. He succeeds Hos Fahmy in that position and will work closely with Edu. Now, for me, first and foremost, the first thing is that he's replacing Hos Fahmy. that means he has to have some role in contracts. And we all know, we're messing up with contracts. Hopefully this means some positive news with Balogun. We've got a young player called Kiddo Taylor Hart that could go on to be a player at some level. So that could be money or a first team player for us. Contract also running out. We've got a bunch of players contracted until 2022 where we need to find resolutions over them. Lacazette, still Kolasinac, Guendouzi, there's still a couple. I can't, Lacazette is one. Eddie Nketiah as well, for a variety of reasons. Do you give Lacazette a new deal because of form and keep him for another number of years? Do you say let's sell Eddie Nketiah now, which is probably what Arteta and Edu have to decide? But if you're going to keep him, you have to sign a new deal in which this Richard brother has to go and get that one done to protect any sort of resale value. New deal, go out on loan, all these sort of things. Obviously, with Balogun, for obvious reasons, I would love to see that. So, for first and foremost, it means we can finally pick up some sort of slack that Hosfarme, or as a result of Hosfarme leaving this club, we can bring him in. Again, I don't want to sing a man's praises, but when I hear that you're director of football at Premier League, being a bit dark hearts is the best way to describe it. He must come with some contact books. Now, we've been here on the Raul Sanye, but you must come with a long list of clients and friends that maybe Arsenal can utilize to our advantage across all dimensions of the game, on and off the field, with all the stuff we hear rising about Super Leagues and all of these sort of things. Obviously, again, the experience factor. We have, with all due respect, Arteta, Edu, Vinay, a lot of these people have increased responsibilities and increased job duties, and they're still inexperienced. And I don't really see a real direction from Kroenke. So you've got inexperienced men, and it's not a criticism. That is a fact. They're all new in their roles, realistically. And they're left to their devices. They don't know what they don't know. And again, we can't look at one man as the messiah or to change things, but I think maybe Richard Garlick's experience might be able to help us in some regards. Apparently, the Athletic understands Garlick will leave later this year, having first taken up a role with the division in the summer 2018. So maybe he'll leave in the summer. So in the immediate future, you can't see anything changing at Arsenal Football Club because he's not stepping in tomorrow. But the articles went on to say, who is Richard Garlick? He's the director of football at the Premier League. In his role, he has the task of overseeing football operations, football relations, youth development, coaching, and young player education. He was previously director of football admin at West Brom, and prior to that, worked at a number of law firms before moving into football admin. So the first thing I'm getting from this guy is contracts directly. He's going to be the guy for contracts and, again, football operations. So maybe there'll be an easier process when he does eventually come in. When we are moving for players, we get their contracts tied down. Hopefully we do smarter things like put more options of another year in these players' deals. Hopefully there's a more proactive approach. Hopefully as well, he being experienced, again, we can't overwork Donny, but hopefully with him, that means the workload can be put onto him because he's experienced and competent at his role. And then Vinay and these lot can have their roles sort of streamlined down, and they can do things because on one hand, it must be great, being new into a role, being given more responsibilities. But we tried to do too much in the summer. We had a lot of changes. This is why we didn't move on players and bring in everyone we want. And this is why we're still playing catch up. Now, again, it's not going to change anything today because he's not coming until later the year. Now, we're not being told, is that next month? Is that in the summer? Is that in this winter coming, or next winter? Technically, we don't know, people. But yeah, he's a qualified solicitor specializing in sports law. So I'm just seeing contracts, people. And again, it's gone on to say this, what will his role be at Arsenal? He'll work closely with Edu and takes the position previously held by Hosfarme. His background in law is part of what Arsenal were looking for from their new director of football operations. Garlick will be expected to work on contracts at the Emirates Stadium. So in theory, you've got a footballing man on the board like Edu. You've got someone who might be able to confirm contracts really quickly. So again, I'm happy for it because, again, I want people who can do their roles. And I don't know too much about Donny from what I've just read out to you lot, but hopefully it can be good. But in relation to specifics, that's all I have, people. So I appreciate you lot. And I big up the chat as well for staying on the ball and making sure that, you obviously can see I'm on a live stream and I'm not looking at stuff right now. So you obviously managed to help a guy out and thingy, update me on emerging stories, because just like that, I can now clip that up and that's there for the people that ain't in this live stream. So big him up, people. CeeLo has said, would you sell Nketiah? Say we were offered for 20 mil. I'm not gonna lie. I would. what I would like to do initially with Eddie Nketiah is actually sign him a new deal, go out on loan, because again, for us, he might not have any thought of breaking into the first team, but let's say we loan him out to another Premier League team and he has what he didn't have at Leeds and hasn't had at Arsenal, consistently scoring, and he goes from being 5 to 10 million rated to 20 million rated, and we say, do you know what? Balogun has signed a new deal, or Martinelli is now going to be our striker, or whatever. Let's sell Eddie Nketiah, make some cash, and redistribute that to areas it can help. So it helps us. We either get a player that can become a first team player properly for us, or someone that can make cash for us. I think we're playing a dangerous game letting him run down this deal, and obviously a decision is going to have to be made. Balogun and Eddie both represented by the same agent, as you guys know. Again, if he's a good agent, I wouldn't expect him to commit both of their futures at the club. I would love to see it, but it's like, both of you, and unless there was an exodus of attacking players and specifically strikers, it's probably unlikely both are going to get significant minutes. I'm not saying both can't make it at Arsenal, but significant minutes. I'm not going to lie, I would take 20 million. I would take 20 million. I can't lie to you, really and truly. If you offer me 20 for Joe, offer me 20 for Eddie, I don't want to sell Nelson, but I'm going to listen, and it's going to get my mouth wet in a sense and get me, eyes watering trying to listen to things if you offer 20 million, and Nelson's with a heavy heart, that's almost 60 million for players. Imagine you sold Joe and Eddie for 20 apiece. Whether they're worth it or not, that's 40 million out of nowhere. That could, if you only had 40 million for our, you can now give them the extra 10 or whatever they wanted. You get? And that's my problem. We're not really doing this self-financing thing. You look at, it's a bit different because Chelsea are breeding their young players very differently. But you look at Chelsea, if they ever got into financial issues, and let's say Roman left the team, Roman bust out and he said, there's we're not doing the Chelsea thing. Tammy, Mount, James, these guys can make significant profit. And there's also, the Trevor Chalobahs, the Jake Clark Slaughters, the Timoris, all of these guys that are on the cusp of the first, Conor Gallagher, cusp of the first team or in and around the team that could be sold for handsome profit. If we don't have money, then we need to spend our money correctly. We need to buy players that can develop, and we need to make sure that if players can't come out of our academy to progress to our first team, we're able to do something else with it. Big up yourself for the super chat, Randy. Balogun to Leipzig over Nketiah. Again, it hasn't happened yet. So again, we have to be easy. But I do share you. I'd rather Nketiah go than Balogun. But if they both go, I ain't got time for it, man. I've seen Thierry Henry leave this football club, so ain't nothing, man. The world keeps spinning. There'll be young players who are going to leave before them. There was young players who left before them. There'll be young players that left after them. If you ask me players I'm genuinely annoyed that are not playing for this football club, I'd say Yunus Musa of Valencia, Josh De Silva at Brentford, obviously Serge Gnabry, Ismail Benassia, Daniel Marlon, Jeffrey Adelaide to a slight degree, but not so much the names I previously said. These are the players I felt, they either could have made top buck for Arsenal or developed here. I would say Bielik, but injury shagged him and the writing was on the wall, really. But to get it, these are players, and they're all, it's almost like, it's not gonna lie, because it's not like, especially the foreign players, we took them from elsewhere, but it's like we've grown the tree and everybody else is enjoying these mangoes or these fruits apart from us personally. So it is what it is, man. Only certain people will get that, man. Man said, don't sell me. If you score the goals, I'm just not seeing development from you, Eddie, man. So your place is disposable in the team right now. Do you get it, man? Big up, Roy. You're up 4 a.m. in Southeast Asia. Big up yourself, man. That's ridiculous. Go and get some sleep. Your ideal pairing at centre half for tonight. Difficult one, my guy. Difficult one, because on one hand, I think, it's got to be Marie and Holding. Then I'm like, you can't. David Luiz has been doing his thing. It's got to be David Luiz and Marie. Now it's got to be Marie and Holding. For me, when Gabriel is fit, regardless, I know he's still a bit rash, but let's not forget he won player of the month 3 times in a trot, and his only bad game really was Aston Villa, really, with the red card. For me, he starts. So we've got some good problems. And you could also say Gabriel and Marie, but we'd say them two haven't been played together. So I think when it's kind of a must, when we need to get 6 points and we've been keeping clean sheets, I would rather go with Marie and Holding than try the new partnership of Gabriel and Marie personally. David Luiz and Rob Holding wouldn't be the worst of things. David Luiz and Marie, I wouldn't mind that again. They played well. Personally, I think we should go with Gabriel. So I think that kind of means, sadly, that Marie can't play, because he's not going to experiment 2 left-sided centre-halves, at least with the context of this game. So I'd say for me, Gabriel, And it's a toss-up between Rob Holding and David Luiz. Personally, I'm going to give it David Luiz. You know, big up Holding, he's done well, but I think David Luiz did very well against Andy Carroll, and there might be a bit of that required. And also, David Luiz gives us a lot on the ball as well. He tries to pick out these passes and things like that, and our midfield is quite capped in that regards. I know with Partey, if he starts, we're back in this sort of thing to a bit, but it's a problem, man. I don't think that's the case, and that's not what I said. I don't know how you got that from there. I just think we're not going to see a change or a shift in attitude at Arsenal while this guy isn't in the role, really and truly. Farhad, I spoke about Benassi. I just said I was annoyed that he left, so I'm not going to go over that again, my guy. Oh yeah, man. Bro, get peas, bro. Go and get. I know a lot of people say, but Brewster went for this and Eddie's that. I hear that, but let's not forget Brewster had a half decent season at Swansea. Eddie hasn't had that. That being said, you should still be able to get somewhere. And to be fair, on one hand, I think we can get money for Eddie, but on the other hand, I think he's got element of surprise. He can surprise. We don't know his true level. You know, Ian Wright, Owen, and Alan Shearer, they all know definitely more about football, but definitely more about striking than me. They all seem to rate him. I don't really, on one hand, I don't really care what professionals or whatever man are saying if they rate someone. I got my own brain, but at the same time, you know, there's no smoke without fire. And I must admit, already Eddie surprised me when he came back on his. You don't really see it now, but I think when he came back from that loan spot at Leeds, he looked a bit stronger. He looked a bit more sharp. Definitely against, I think we played Everton and Newcastle, 2 games in the spin. He played quite well in both of them. More when he first was keeping Lacazette out that team, I think Eddie was doing his thing. So there might be an element of surprise. You don't know. And to be fair, Eddie is still young for a striker. Again, he might just be young to be here, but he's still young. Smack my B-League. That's such a name. Thoughts on Ozil at Arsenal? Terrific player. Had him here. You know, last 2-3 years became a bit toxic for everybody involved, but a terrific baller. And yeah, man, I loved watching Mesut Ozil live. I will love watching him on the TV. I don't think many signings will beat the hype of when we signed Ozil. Sometimes to watch Santi Cazorla, Mesut Ozil, and Alexis Sanchez in particular, the 3 of them link up together. Absolutely ridiculous. I do think at times he didn't adapt. He didn't pull it out. Also, at times, equally, I think he was unfairly scapegoated quite a lot of the time, man. Yeah, man. So, yeah. Charles Watt said he doesn't think Arteta will start Partey to ease him back in. We don't want to re-injure him himself like he did last time. And to be fair with you, you know, if that's the case, I'm all for that. We can't afford it. Somebody said he's played 90 minutes twice or something like that for Arsenal, which is a Mazzolini. I ain't got no facts to back that up, but it's almost like he is a new signing, to quote our old manager, Arsene Wenger. Sandro has said, where's Christian Bielik now? He's at Derby, and I think he won their player of the month. He's doing quite well. The only thing that held Bielik back was injuries. He's had some proper injuries, and you know, once he's got over them properly, he'll probably move back to a Premier League team, in my humble opinion, people. Moving away from that though, folks, and staying on task. So what we've spoken about Mendes as well. Kieran Tierney has revealed the changing room chat with Bellerin, which changed everything. Let's see what this thing is saying, people. Please make sure you're hitting up the like buttons, people. Please make sure you check out the pin message. Live watch along business at 7:30 p.m. today, UK time. Adjust your clock to wherever you lot are. But apparently, Kieran Tierney has revealed the impact Bellerin has had on his short Arsenal career so far, saying he would never have been able to settle so well without the invaluable guidance of his Spanish teammate. And, you know, nice to see camaraderie between the two fullbacks. It's nice to see Bellerin's actually been copying you, tucking his shirt in, and all of these sort of things, people. But let's skip forward. I just want to see the relevant parts. Again, this is all part of Bellerin's documentary, which I'm not going over. I will watch it, but I'm not going to speak about something I ain't watched now. You know, the way I got so close to Hector was on my first day. He came up and introduced himself. He said he would be spending a lot of time with me because he was injured and I was injured. And you all saw them both make their comeback in the under-23s game against. Could have been Blackburn. I could be wrong, which I probably am. He said, so straight away, I felt I had a good connection and I knew how big a name he was as well. So coming into the change room with big names for him to do that was so nice, and it helped me settle straight away. I used to say my family, Hector's helping me. Hector's taking me out today. Hector's doing this. And I think they even appreciate how much he helped me. The biggest influence in the team for me would be him. He helped me the most. Big up Bellerin for that. You know, one thing I'll command Bellerin is how he acts on and off the field and how he conducts himself. My only problems with Hector Bellerin is the lack of consistency for a long duration on the field. And to be fair, last 3 games, you've done your thing. He said, And we've also got to remember why I like this as well, because Tierney, he might show maturity on the field, and he does show maturity. We've got to remember this man is 22, 23 years of age, you know. He is very mature, but we've got to remember that. And he's moving to London. We all know he was by himself in a flat, you know, that it was said, and he was playing PlayStation and that. That can be great, but that could also be lonely. As you lot know, football takes up a lot of your time, but once you're finished training or whatever, yeah, you can chill with the man them and things like that. But, and especially during COVID, you're in your gaff. You know, and yeah, you can phone up your mom and dad and friends them in Scotland and all of these sort of things. But, you know, there's things that could be said. And obviously the man, they are similar ages. They're all early 20s and things like that. So it's nice to see. And, you know, if I had my way, we'd have a right back in. So Bellerin's future might be subjected to speculation, but these lot might be here for a significant period of time under Arteta. So it's good to see that they're gelling in. And obviously, when you have that connection off the field, you ride for each other on the field. How many of you have played with your friends? It's a different sort of energy. If they get into problems on the field, you know, you're shoving, man, but it's not an empty threats thing. You really mean what you're saying. You really mean it when you say after the game we do this, because you think your brethren's in problems. That's what I like to see, man. You know, I want to see a brotherhood here. We fight each other, we push each other, but we fight the opposition harder. And these are the sort of things that can build that up. So big up both of them. Really and truly. And he said, I think he could see when I first came that I was pretty nervous. You don't have much time to settle in at Arsenal. You're playing with big players and big names, so you have to hit the ground running. Definitely wouldn't have thought Tierney was nervous, but I remember indirectly Emre and I believe Arteta as well kind of speaking about that. He said, I remember that I probably overthought every mistake I made. I went home and was like, I could have done better. I could have done this. Whereas I wish I had just relaxed a bit more and enjoyed it. So maybe he's overruled himself a bit too much. I like that you're thinking what you could have done better, but you've got to forgive yourself. And to be fair, Tierney, big Celtic Tierney, I wouldn't have thought this, to be fair. So it's always interesting to hear these things. And he also said, you're good enough to play here. Just believe in yourself. That helped me so much. It was after training in the changing rooms. We sat down for an hour and spoke. I think that changed everything. I went home that night feeling much better about myself. I remember texting him saying thanks. So yeah, man, I'm not gonna say Bellerin made Tierney settle and he's the reason he's doing his thing and whatnot, people. But you know, it was good to see them both make their returns. It's lovely to see, you know, Holding, new deal, Bellerin in slightly good form. How long it lasts for is anyone's guess. And it's lovely to see Tierney settled as well, because they're all young men. They're all shagged by injuries. They all play for Arsenal Football Club. So I want them to do their thing, people. So big up Bellerin in relation to that. He's also spoken about gym sessions and things like yeah, and he spoke. We can watch the documentary if you want to see this, but you know, big up Tierney and big up Bellerin for helping each other. We're obviously linked with goalies all the time, people, and we've been linked with Tom Heaton to be our backup goalie. To be fair, I'm all for it on the basis that he's better than Runnison, you know, on that regards. Because if I touch all sorts of wood, you know, I touch the black wood, I touch this white wood, you know, I touch where's the beige wood. Where's the bit? Oh, it's over there on my wardrobe. Touch all different sort of textures of wood that nothing happens to Leno, because if it happens, we're in problems. But we've been linked with Tom Heaton probably just because, you know, he's not playing. Our former keeper Martinez is doing his thing at Villa, so he's not gonna get a look in. I don't mind Tom Heaton because he's better than Runnison, and obviously there's the homegrown factor. Whether he's the man long term, it remains to be seen. But apparently Alex Crook went on to say, Arsenal let Martinez go to Aston Villa at the start of the season, and it doesn't look like the wisest of moves. Now, you say that it doesn't because we need a keeper, and you could say he was better than Leno, but the man wanted to go. Arteta made it abundantly clear for whatever reason that Leno is his number one. He let man go. We got 20 million for a player that a year ago, or even prior to we got that running, nobody was rating Martinez like that. Let's be real, you know, we all have to eat humble pie. Nobody was rating Martinez like that. Hardly set the world alight on any of his loan spells. Actually looked a bit shaky in the Europa League. And I think Martinez would have stayed if it was a thing where, you know, Arteta said, you know what, it's a best man wins thing. You know, whoever is doing their job is the starter. I think it was made abundantly clear to Arsenal, or specifically Martinez, that he is going to be number two. I can't begrudge him. He kept it moving. We get 20 million. We all keep it sweet. I would have liked him to come. We all know Runnison came in and it is looking like a mistake. We are willing to let him go on loan. But again, letting him go on loan wouldn't make sense until you bring in a keeper. Now, Tom Heaton, it comes down to, would he rather sit on the bench at Aston Villa or sit on the bench at Arsenal, really and truly? Because we're getting into the serious rounds of Europa League now. Again, who have we got in the FA Cup? Southampton. Again, we're not in the Carabao Cup anymore, and in the league is Leno's to lose. If Leno plays poorly, Leno comes out of the team, but you can't imagine there's too many minutes. So if he does want to leave or complete a move away, maybe it would be best to go elsewhere. Could we even potentially just get Donny on loan on a quick thing while we and buy us some more time to find maybe a more long-term number 2? I don't know. We've also been linked with Neto once again, people, and apparently Neto is frustrated about not playing first team football. So why would you want to leave Barcelona, where you're being number 2, to come to Arsenal to be number 2? It isn't making much sense. He's valued, well, in the summer he was valued at 18 million. Do we have 18 million to spend on a backup goalie? Apparently we're working with a who said it? What in the know said it? We're working with a limited budget around 20 million. So is that the area of concern the most in terms of bodies? We have enough to cover that. So I'm not going to go into it. If they value him at 18 million, you can't really see that. And if they value him at 18 million, you might as well give Brentford the 10 or so that they wanted for Raya or whatever. It doesn't make sense, really and truly. Again, and it's kind of said we've got 10 million. So make of that what you will, people. Obviously, Mesut Ozil is still linked with a move away. And the original report I saw in The Athletic, people, it said Ozil is willing to leave some money on the table to secure a move away from Arsenal in the January transfer window and resume his football career elsewhere, David Ornstein can reveal. Ozil is scheduled to earn around 7 million between now and the end of his contract in June. Bloody hell. It's good, nice for some. But negotiations are taking place between the club and the players' camp about an early termination. If a compromise is not found, the 32-year-old former Germany international will stay at Arsenal for the final 5 months of his deal and continue training with the first team, as he has done. Also, big up Don Draper. He said Mesut Ozil's transfer to Fenerbahce is in a crucial stage. However, the timing is still being negotiated. However, it is unclear whether Ozil will move in the summer or whether a January transfer would already be possible. Ozil can already imagine himself staying in London until the summer. His agent had denied a final agreement with Fenerbahce yesterday at ESPN. In Turkey, they are very sure that the deal will go through. And you have heard rumors about, he's been in Turkey. There's, people are decorating a new house. There's all sorts of things, people. The director of Fenerbahce said, we had a meeting with him and his manager. Mesut is closer than ever to joining the club. The fact that Ozil had this childhood dream and Fenerbahce had the dream has made this step so close for the first time. So again, we won't really know until things happen. Mikel Arteta has also spoken about Thomas Partey, folks. He's played just one game in the past 2 months, so his match fitness, he might not be 100% there, maybe fit enough to be on the bench. But apparently, as we already know, Thomas Partey is a crucial character who raises the level of those around him, according to Mikel Arteta, who is excited about welcoming him back for Crystal Palace on Thursday, people. He said, I think he's got a different presence. He brings something different to the team. It's not just about his talent. It's not just about his physicality. It's who he is as a person. He makes people around him better. And that's a big quality. It's incredible that we are in January. We signed him in October and we've only played him a handful of times. We haven't really seen the impact he could have on this team. Obviously, we've missed him. I think he's going to be a big bonus if we can keep him fit. Fact. And it went on to say, when you are injured, you first feel all of the responsibility when the club has made the effort we made to sign him. I wouldn't, because you man injured him. You lot played him against Spurs unnecessarily. You risked it and now we got in trouble. He said he was so willing for months to be joining us. He wants to be part of it. So again, what we already know, he said months. We didn't just wake up in October and say we want Thomas Partey. The negotiations started very early on, and I hope the negotiations for hopefully competent summer signings are happening, and definitely something in this window was done. I hope talk of signings in January happened the moment it became abundantly clear we would not sign that 8.5, that more attacking sort of midfielder in October, because now we're in January. And again, I think we have to go down personally to the last week or two to really see some movement. Hopefully we can. I don't think we'll see anything of impact until something happens over Ozil, whether the Mustafis and the Sokratis are moved on. Maybe there's other things to be done as well, as you saw in the case of Kolasinac and Saliba departing on loan. Obviously, a backup keeper still on the agenda. So I have to see. And he said that's why sometimes he was rushing and wanted to do everything straight away, because he was so willing to come back. And this is where you have to save the players from themselves. When I hear stuff like this, or I hear that, Martinelli doesn't, Martinelli, we heard Martinelli don't really think he's injured half the time and things. Again, I look at Partey, he's a winner. He wants to win. He's been playing in some of the toughest games in Spain. He wants to be involved. You've got to save him from himself. You've got a young, impressionable kid like Martinelli, a teenager, naive, needs saving from himself. I don't really like hearing things like this. Save the man from himself, even if he was willing. In your heart, if a man is fit, you've got medical staff. Again, if man are not fit, do not play them. And he said he settled really well into the dressing room around the staff. He's a really special character, and hopefully we can see him on the pitch finally. Hopefully we can see him on the pitch, people. But with that, that ends everything I wish to speak about, people. I hope you're all well and safe. What are you guys saying, people? Let me get a couple questions in before we keep it moving. Bro, it's not making sense, bro. You don't want to go from the Barca bench to form it. You know, big up Isaac Hayden. What about Isaac Hayden? You know, big him up, but I wouldn't take him personally. Fox in the Boxer said too many documentaries about a guy who can't make a throwing. Let's be a bit sensible. Whatever we say about Hector Bellerin, and you know, I don't think he's good enough consistently to be our fullback. But you come on now, that really doesn't have relevance to him coming back from an injury and getting in health. And I think it's an eye opener. There might be a young man out there that's going through what Bellerin is going through, and he sees that documentary. It might give him some sort of extra spring in his step to make a difference. You know. So I wouldn't say I feel sympathy or whatever, but you know, you come on now, man. You know, we can have our opinions on Bellerin as a footballer. Without that, like it's not a that thing. It don't really make sense, really and truly. Already did, my guy. Bro, Pedro Neto's a baller. I spoke about him in 2018 or so when he was at Lazio and when he was going to Lazio, people. We've already discovered that, and they won't. DG, your thoughts on loan for Isco or buy Buendia? I'd rather buy Buendia personally. You know, Curtis is it. Big up Curtis. He's allowed to feel how he wants, but I'd rather buy Buendia. You know, there's resale value there as well. And, you know, it screams more longevity. Again, we're going to pay a loan fee for Isco, and it would be cheaper, but we don't know his physical condition. He's barely played. I just think Buendia gives us a bit more options. You can also play Buendia off that right. So if Willian and Pepe keep being inconsistent, and Nelson ain't going to make a claim for that, and we need to rest Saka or play around with Saka, there's also that. I do think Buendia long term can play that Santi role as he gets older as well. Podence is a baller. Allegedly, Basuma's available to go for 25 million in this window. Will we do that? I'm not too sure. So yeah, man, make of that what you will. Please make sure you're hitting the like button, people. Also, please be aware of the pinned message live watch along business, and I'll be doing a live reaction after that as well. I really do hope Partey starts tonight, but if he's not fully fit, I understand why, man. Time will tell, my guy. We've been here before. We was here with Jack Wilshere, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Theo Walcott, and only really Aaron Ramsey went on to do anything of relevance. Time will tell. We like a project. We did the project. Arsenal are out of financial issues. We did it with, you know, when Santi came in, then Ozil came in, then Alexis came in. You know, we're doing it now with, you know, we've had it now with certain other players. You know, we've had it before. You know, we love a project. We love an unfinished project. You know, I want to see it down. I want to see it down to the end. Who knows, man? Who knows? Hopefully not, but who knows? If he plays well and he deserves it, I'll give a man that, but I wouldn't think that is that, man. So we'll have to see what happens, man. Let's get the likes up. Where are we in terms of likes, people? 244 likes. Can we get that to 300, people? Can we get that to 300? Big up everyone, man. So yeah, man. What else is there? Let's get another question, man. Bro, we love the unfinished project at this club. We love it, man. Both not hit the heights. I think both have been crucified by fans. Both have been sold short by the club. I'm always gonna pick Mesut Ozil. He almost broke Henry's record, really and truly. But I think it's about even. But who knows? Pogba might turn around and win the Premier League if we go off the league positions now. You know, just switched on here. Who are you talking about, bro? You're gonna have to scroll back or come off the stream. There ain't nothing I can't really help you in that regard. What else have we got? Roy is saying DG prediction versus Palace scorer. I don't like predictions, man. My brain is telling me 3-3 actually, but my heart is saying 3-2 Arsenal, Lacazette, Aubameyang, and I would like Pepe to come off the bench and score. Basuma or Lamperty. Oof. You know what? It's a biased one. Fullbacks union. I'm going to have to go with Tariq Lamperty. I do like Leverkusen's DRB. I'm still waiting for a bit more to be like convinced that, yo, this is the guy we need to get. Because right now it's like, yeah, I'll take him. He's a baller. But I need to be 100% convinced sort of thing. So I would say that, people. On that note, though, I'm going to keep it moving, people. You know, we've got a couple of other live streams tonight. I'm going to keep this one brief, and I've given you lots of content. I'm going to chop up all of this really and, you know, put more bite-sized videos for those of you who can't get in here. So, yeah, man. I'll obviously see you in a bit, people. Please make sure you hit the like button. Please make sure you've obviously you're aware of the live stream at 7:30 as well, and I'll catch you all then. And after that 7:30 live stream, there'll be a live reaction stream, as you guys know, people. Before I get out of here, in fact, DS Boss has said, would you take Buendia or Brandt? Ooh. If you asked me a year ago, I'd say Brandt. Oh, it comes down to price, but I'm really on the Buendia train now, so I'm going to stick with Brandt, but Buendia. Not that makes sense, you know. I'd want Aura over all of them, but that ain't going to happen, man. I hope you're right with that, my guy. You know, big up Fox in the Box, Eddie and Ketia. I hope to see you at the next live stream. I hope you score a goal tonight, man. Please make sure you hit the like button on your way out, people, and I'll catch you lot again, man. Catch you lot later, people. Big up everyone. Big up all the YouTube members. Big up the Twitch gang. You know, please make sure you've hit the subscribe button as well. All links for my socials are in the description. So, yeah, I'll catch you lot later, people. Hopefully, I've given you some decent content, but I've got to keep it moving. People, Deluded. I'm out, man. Thank you very much. I've spoken about in Brimstone. Please scroll back. But for now, people, like I said, God bless. Catch you lot later. I'm out.